All right, hold on. Let me see where she's at so I can add her onto the live. How y'all doing, everybody? There she go. Hello. How you doing?
Hi. Nice to finally get to see you face to face.
Yes, yes. I am the founder of Arizona Baddies Club. Trillionaire Terrance or Terrance. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Face to face. You said you're doing good this morning. Well, actually, this afternoon and stuff like that. How's your day
Yes.
been today?
Today's been good. Another day, Sunday, stay in prayer.
Okay, okay.
So I'm blessed, I'm blessed to see another day.
Okay. So, like we briefly talked like the other day ago and we had like a long conversation and stuff like that. Just basically catching up on some of the things that you've been. So I kind of felt like it was I wanted to go live with you just to, catch up on you for the things that happened and stuff like that. I'm gonna just say a few things and then after that I'm gonna just pretty much just let you have the floor. But I might butt in and have a few questions, but I'm just pretty much
Okay.
just let you have the floor. Um so hey everybody, all the viewers that's tuning into Arizona Baddies Club right now, I have Brenda Miller. She is the mother of Destiny McClain, who tragically passed away in July 18th, 2021. So that it's almost been, I want to say, what, 2 years? It's
It'll be
been
2 years
about two
next month.
years. So yeah, so Destiny McClain was actually struck by a stray bullet outside of a food truck around like 3:30 p.m. I mean a.m. So the police had my bad. So the police, did certain investigations and still like the suspect hasn't been found and things like that. But like I said, we just don't want Destiny's mom doesn't want Destiny just to live. As far as the girl who got killed outside of a food truck, her daughter was much more than that. So we're going to speak on those things briefly. So let's just go with I want to start with can you just tell us about Destiny's like early life, just things about her?
Destiny, she's always been different, like actually from birth. Destiny was actually a twin. Um, and I miscarried the twin early on. So, she's just always been that miracle baby. But Destiny was just always such a happy child. And like we were saying yesterday, there was no ugly people in her world. Everything and everybody had beauty, so, I didn't necessarily agree all the time, but, everything and everybody, she's like, Mom, everybody's beautiful in their own world. In their own way. God doesn't make God doesn't make mistakes. So with that being said, as hard as it is with me losing Destiny, um, this is kind of, giving me a purpose, because one thing about Destiny, she's always been a nurturing person. She's always been the type of person that was concerned about others, always wanting to give back. Um, for example, after she passed away, she had what was called a burn book. And it was, a little diary, and it asked what was one of the most pivotal moments in her life. And the most pivotal moment was watching her sister buy groceries for a homeless person. So, that's just the way that she's always been, always wanting to help others. So from that's where I decided that, I wanted to do something to just continue her legacy and her memory, of giving. So that's why I came up with the foundation to create a scholarship fund.
Okay. And before we get into that and speak on like how many scholarships and things like that that you have given out, can you kind of describe to the viewers like the moments of it leading up to you arriving either before the crime scene or just
Okay.
arriving and then how you know, how you felt?
Well, Destiny was a homebody, so that night was a one-off type situation. She didn't go out. It was something that was planned for a long time. She worked at Amazon, and she had a coworker that was going through, you know, some things at home, and they just were trying to take them out and uplift them and just uplift their spirits. So this particular night, they ended up going out, but couldn't connect with the person that they were intentionally going out to meet with. So her and this other friend just went somewhere else, which was Carambas, which was off of 18th Street in McDowell. And there's an after hours. So after hours, they allowed under 21 to come in. So that's when they decided they were going to go ahead and leave. So she saw the food truck in the parking lot, and they decided they would get a cheese quesadilla. And prior to that, I actually spoke with her because she had accidentally butt dialed me. And I got up and I realized I missed a call from her, you know, and when I spoke with her, she was having a good time, but I'm glad I got that call because that was the last time we got to say, I love you. So, and even like I said, she had butt dialed me and she didn't realize she called me. So she was on my voicemail for a long time. I still have that voicemail. I've never deleted it, you know, just in case I can hear her laughing or something in the background. So when I woke up and she wasn't home at 5, I wasn't too concerned because I had spoken with her a couple of hours earlier, so I knew she was okay at that time. But my other daughter was concerned because they had an agreement that because she caught an Uber to the location that when she came home, she would send her sister her location so she, you know, she could watch when she came home. So her sister was concerned because she never sent her the location. So she, you know, was asking me if I talked to her. And I said, yeah, I talked to her a couple hours ago, you know. So I'm looking at her location. She's at, the location was showing me that she was at a taco spot. So my thought process was she worked nights, so it wasn't unusual for her to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I figured maybe her and her friends were out, you know, having breakfast. But I was texting her and I was calling her, and they know that I don't do well. You know, if I text you and it's the next morning and you're not responding, I start panicking. So they're not going to not respond to me. So, and I'm looking and I'm realizing she's not reading my messages. She's not answering my phone calls. So I went to my other daughter, Essence. I said, I'm a little concerned, you know, is Destiny, you know, responding to you? And she said, no. So about 15 minutes passed. I see she's still not responding. She's not reading. So I tell my daughter Essence, I said, I'm going to go look for her. You know, I'm like, this isn't normal. I'm going to go track her. So she decided she was coming with me. And actually, both Essence and Faith got in the car. So when I was getting off the freeway, because her location was showing she was over there off of like 17th Street in McDowell. And just as I was exiting the freeway, this sense of dread just came over me. I didn't know what it was, you know, I just had the sense of dread. And as I got off the freeway and pulled up to where her phone was, I see crime scene tape. So I get out and the police come, they tell me, you know, you can't be here. And I'm telling them, no, I'm not leaving. My daughter, I tracked her location. She's here somewhere and I'm not leaving. So they said, okay, go ahead and sit in the car. So I'm sitting in the car and just things are just going through my head. And I grab my phone, I pull up a picture of Destiny, and I go back to the officer because they had crime scene tape blocking off the intersection. So I was on McDowell heading east, and so they had it blocked off. And so I'm sitting off to the side over here, and the police are just in the middle of the intersection, you know, blocking off. So I got out and went back to the police officer, and I pulled up the picture, and I said, look, this is my daughter. Is she hurt? And they said, ma'am, this is a homicide, and it's a female victim. So I knew, you know, I knew it was my daughter. And
And
still
actually kind of describe that feeling, like in that moment, like how does that,
it,
when you felt like you knew?
it's unreal, for one, because it's like, you just feel like you're in, like, this isn't really happening. Like Twilight Zone is how I best explain it, because, you know, I knew something was wrong. And, and I sensed something as soon as I got off the freeway. So when I got there, it was like I already knew. So that was a confirmation for me. So that was extremely hard, and I'm trying to hold it together, and at that point, I called my job and let my job know, I'm not coming into work tomorrow. Something happened. I'll be having to work from home. And, I have people trying, well, Brenda, just think positive. I'm like, I am thinking positive. I know what's happening because the detective wouldn't want me to still be here if it wasn't my child. So I waited, and it seemed like an eternity. And they have, the crime scene trucks, the CSU vans. So, I went in there with the detective. And at the time, when I told you I had that feeling of dread, something I started thinking, like, what if somebody tried something with Destiny, and I know Destiny's not going to let them just, touch her. And in my mind, I was just petrified that what if somebody tortured my daughter to death? So in my mind, I don't know what happened. I know I had this feeling that something happened, and now you're telling me it's a homicide and it's a female victim, and my daughter's not responding to me. So I just, just everything's going through my head, and I don't know what happened to my child. So as horrible as it sounds, because of what I had in my mind as far as her being tortured to death, when the detective told me that she was shot, it was kind of a relief, to know that my child wasn't fighting, physically for her life. But, and I found out that there were some guys there that tried to help her. They were trying to save her. So that gives me some solace that she wasn't alone in her final moments. But it's still hard for me to know that, I wasn't with her, and she spent her last moments scared, not knowing what was happening to her.
And so, like, and I'm sorry, I wish I could, like, hold you right now, because I know you.
It's okay.
And so I know the situation's been, like, really hard and things like that. But on the bright side, the things that you've been doing for Destiny, as far as, let's speak on, the foundation that you've created, the scholarships you've given out for her, to for her legacy to live on.
Well, the day that I lost her, that day, I actually did one interview, and I told that reporter I did not want my daughter to be a statistic. I didn't want her to be known as the girl shot at a food truck. I wanted her to be known for who she was, as the giving and caring and selfless individual. The girl that would spend her last dime, just to make someone else happy. And so with that, Destiny in her, she was 23. So at that time, she wasn't sure where she wanted to go in life as far as school-wise. She was debating on if she wanted, I was trying to push her towards fashion because she was very artistic, and she could sew by hand. And as soon as I learned that she could sew by hand, I bought her a sewing machine. You're going to sit here and do this all day? Well, here. I remember it was a Project Runway sewing machine too, and she was so happy. And but she could do so many different things. She could do hair, she could do makeup. I mean, she could cook. So she didn't know she wanted to go to culinary school, fashion school, school for cosmetology. So she never got the opportunity to finish. Or as I say, she was destined for greatness, but she never got the opportunity to fulfill her destiny. So I came up with the idea of scholarships in her name, because for me, that her name lives on and her memory lives on. And as people pursue their dreams, they take a piece of destiny with them, And one thing she used to say when she was little, she was going to be famous, everybody's going to know me. I'm going to be famous, and, I want to make sure that happens. I want people to know her for who she was and the legacy she leaves behind. Because at 23, the girl was 80 years old in a 23-year-old body, and she had a heart of gold. She had friends kids loved her. So I'm going to say she had friends from age of 1 to 70, because that's just who she was. And she was a 70-year-old. Her and my mother were best friends, and she had no shame. I remember at school they had, how they have Spirit Week, and they had Senior Citizens Day. And Destiny went with my mom's walker and my mom's dress, and had her little shoes on and had her glasses, and had no shame, and was walking like a little old lady. And my oldest daughter was like, oh my God, you know, but Destiny had no shame. She's like, you know what? You can't embarrass me. I embarrass myself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just, she was just always she could always put a smile on your face. You could have the worst day and you just see her and she just lights you like, hey, you know, and just make noises and just that, you know, that smile, you know, because she was always smiling.
So I guess before we can touch on like how many of you given out and things like that you've kind of done personally with the scholarships, like can you speak on some things that you would want people to kind of know about her that like a lot of people don't know? Like I know you said a few things, but like is there anything out there that like the world would, you know?
I mean, Destiny, there's so many things, but one thing about Destiny is she just had a heart of gold. You know, she was just so compassionate and so selfless and never had a negative thing to say about anybody, you know, and wasn't going to partake in it. You know, she wasn't the type, she didn't want to hear it. And it, you know, because to her, she just did not want to hear it. She didn't want to be a part of it. She just didn't like negativity, you know, and that you're just breeding negativity into the atmosphere. And she didn't like that because she was just optimistic and positive. You know, things could be happening around her and you think she's oblivious, but she's just always looking at the best of everything. You know, where you're looking at it, the glass is half empty. She's looking at, no, it's not. It's half full. Look, you've got this much in there. And it's like, Destiny, really? You know, it's like, oh my gosh, little girl. Because she's sunshine and rainbows. And, you know, as a matter of fact, last year when we had her balloon release, and it started right before it started raining, but a friend of mine actually took a picture, but you know, we all spoke in a circle, and as soon as I started speaking, a rainbow appeared, you know, and it was like, there's my baby. And that's what she was. I mean, that's the only way I can explain her is like rainbows, because she was just like so good. And you know, she was just a happy, loving, compassionate, selfless person, nurturing, always wanting to be there for people, you know, always wanting to do for people.
How about her with her like her because she has like sisters, share some moments, you know, with her and her
Well,
siblings.
her and her sisters, because they are kind of all over the place. For example, one of my daughters lives in Connecticut, my other daughter lives in Superior, but my girls sit on FaceTime, you know, because they're so used to being in the house together. They would just sit on FaceTime, wouldn't even talk to each other. They just all on FaceTime doing different things, and they sit there all day, you know, but that's their way of spending time with each other. And and they're just funny, just like, you know, I was telling you, just their personalities, just, you know, listening to them go back and forth, and they're just hilarious. You know, like for example, Faith and Destiny, those were the two youngest. So as babies, they couldn't stand each other because they were 3 years apart. But, you know, once they got older, they were best friends, inseparable. Went to high school together, worked together, lived together. And they worked, you know, they worked at Amazon. And I would see so many videos, and that was not a good thing. They should never work together, ever. Because I would see videos of them hiding, you know, they like Faye said, they put us in the back with all the big boxes, so we decided we were going to build a clubhouse, and we were hiding underneath the boxes. It's like, you guys are at Amazon, you're supposed to be packing. They're like, no, not the two of them, you know. So and it's so hilarious because they used to fight like cats and dogs, and then they became adults and were inseparable.
So as far as in you and, you know, you going through this situation and knowing that you had to be like very resilient and strong to like overcome something like this. When we recently spoke, you were speaking on, there was other mothers now that, you know, was going through the same situation who are now kind of reaching out to you, you know, either for
Yes.
guidance or just need help
Well,
coping
yes.
with the situation. Speak on that.
So after I lost Destiny, you know, I've never, I'm going to say that's the loneliest I've ever felt. And not because I had nobody, because I did have my family. But when it comes to grief, even though you grieve with multiple people, you don't all have the same type of grief. So, you know, where I'm grieving with my daughters, they've lost their sibling, you know, it's a different type of grief. I don't know that because I've never lost a sibling. I'm an only child. So, you know, so I understand that they're hurting, but I don't understand their pain. And so for me, it felt like I didn't have anybody. I didn't know any other mother. Well, I knew of mothers, but there wasn't anybody who was close to me that I could talk to. And so, I just kind of went through this experience alone, and it's like with that type of situation, when you lose a child, initially, you know, like I said, you feel like you're in the twilight zone. You're trying to wrap your head around it. So initially, everybody's reaching out, but you're not in a position emotionally, mentally. You're not ready to deal with people. You're trying to deal with whatever arrangements you need to make. So you're kind of just going through the motions. So once you get through all of that, which typically it could be a couple of weeks, several weeks, everybody's gone on with their lives, and here you are, it's hitting you like a ton of bricks, and you just feel so alone, and you're in Groundhog Day, because every day it's like you're reliving it every single day. You wake up thinking it was all a bad dream, and then reality sets in. No, it wasn't a dream, it really happened. And like I said, you feel so alone. And I went through that, and I went through, I couldn't allow myself to go into a deep depression, because I have lost a child before. And I went into a depression. I was depressed for several years, so I wasn't the best mother that I could have been to my children. And I couldn't allow myself to do that at this stage of my life. And it wouldn't have been fair to my other children, and it wouldn't be fair to the memory of Destiny. So I had to, basically I had to turn to God, and read my Bible, a lot of prayer, in my faith. And that's what really has helped me. And in the process, I've run across other mothers. So, I have a friend who almost 6 months after I lost my daughter, lost her son, so that's kind of how I started off, because I knew what I felt. I didn't want her to feel that way. So every morning I text her. She didn't even have to respond. It's just, good morning. I love you. I'm here if you need me. Have a blessed day. And it started off with that every single day, And then another friend, she lost her son. So, I added her to my text circle, same with her. And the thing is, it's like where it may not seem like it means that much, but to them to have that consistency, because a lot of times your family doesn't know what you're going through. And sometimes you tend to push people away, or people, tend to kind of separate themselves because they don't know how to, what to say or how to say things. So sometimes situations like this, instead of driving people closer together, it drives a wedge, and, you never know what's going on in someone's life. So just being able to be that constant, and just trying to be there to support them. So, that started off about a year ago. So I started off with one friend, and in that year, I've now, moved to 7 people that, have lost their children that I communicate with every day. And in that group of people, I have a couple of them who like me wanted to do something to memorialize their children. So I have one friend of mine, her name is Nikki. She created a foundation called Ways to Go Foundation. Her son was an artist, and so what she did was she created a store, which is called TD Creations 27, for her son. Her son's name was Trevor Duell, and he was an artist, and he passed away at 27. So she created this store where she sells her son's artwork to help raise money to fund grants that will be awarded to teachers to help keep art in schools. Yesterday, I actually met with Olga Lopez, which was Jeremiah's mother, and that was the young boy who passed away on May 7th, the shooting by the teammate. And she right before he passed, his goal was to start a business. And he and he was a sneakerhead, he was all about his fashion and his shoes. So he written his business proposal. He had already laid out what he wanted to do. He had got accepted at ASU. He was majoring in business. Unfortunately, he never got the opportunity to see that dream through. So his mother and his sister, his mother and his brother, not his sister, his mother, Olga, and his brother, Jamie, have went ahead and actually the day after the day after he graduated. No, I'm not sure, but they created the store. So this store will be a clothing store, and it's going to be based off of what he liked to do, because he was a sneakerhead and he was about fashion. And the name of his store is Juice 24 LLJ, because he played for Red Mountain High School, and so his name was Juice, and his number was 24. So that's a store, and she actually created the Jeremiah Aviles Foundation yesterday, which will also be awarding scholarships. So she'll be using, the store will be helping her fund scholarships as well. So out of the group of mothers, there are 3 of us that have created foundation to memorialize our children.
And so how many personally scholarships have been given out from the Destiny McClain Foundation?
Well, we have awarded, we've actually funded 4. Okay. We haven't selected the winner yet. The winner will be selected next month. My goal was 5. I actually got 500 on the scholarship fund right now. I received an award from my job for a community service award for 500. So that will be our 5th scholarship, but it will be a total of 5 scholarships for $1,000 each to 5 different recipients.
Okay. And so like things like this, it's like I said, it's you've been doing as far as in going through this and just like it's trying to overcome this whole situation. As far as in like people to reach out to you, what's the best way to connect with you if they've gone through that and they're trying to get in touch with you?
They can reach out. They can reach me via my Instagram, which is like I don't know my handle.
No, it's okay.
Or they, through the foundation, our Destiny, our Future Foundation. Our website is actually www.ourdestinyourfuturefoundation.org. You can email me, which is info@ourdestinyourfuturefoundation.org. Or you can also call and leave a message, and I'll get back to you. The phone number is 602-715-2610.
Okay. So, is there like anything that you feel like that just you need to say, get off your chest?
There is, and it's not necessarily in regards to my situation. It's more in regards to, as I was telling you, Jeremiah. I was with his mother yesterday. And as hard as it is to experience this type of situation, what she's had to go through, just the loss itself is hard. But then, when you think about community, your community, it's supposed to include, your schools, because you're raising your kids together. So the way that Red Mountain High School has treated her, and, not, for example, Jeremiah should have graduated. He passed all of his finals. He should have graduated. So for her to have to fight to even have her son's name called at the graduation ceremony, because he's not there physically, they don't want to, they don't want to dwell on that. They want to dwell on the students. But the thing is, the other student who, shot him is also on the program. So, that's kind of a double-edged sword. So she's fighting for this, to have her son, and then they're telling her, because she wanted to have her other son walk in proxy to accept her son's diploma, because he really was looking forward to that day. And, for them to tell her no and point her to rules and guidelines, and send her this link, and absolutely nothing in there is applicable to her situation. It doesn't state if a student passes away. You're stating if students have fines, if they turn in library books, so how can you base a decision off of that? The least you could have done is allow his brother to walk in his place and let him accept the diploma. It's hard, she literally had to go to court the same day. The least you could have done, just let him have that little piece of acknowledgement. And the fact that they couldn't do that, that just hurts my heart. And then, just reading the emails that they, sent her, for example, to sit there and end an email saying, "I'm sorry that you're going through such a heinous time at this joyous occasion." Like, how do you even tell this, how is it a joyous occasion? She's burying her son and fighting with you for you to acknowledge her son. So just the fact that she's had to go through this, and then it really blows my mind that they don't have any practices or guidelines set up for if a student passes away, but you do practice lockdowns in case there's a shooting. It's like that makes no sense. So you do part of it, but you don't finish it. And this is and it's not like it's the first student. they've had 3 students pass away this year. So just the lack of empathy from a school district and, you know, the superintendent. And he acknowledged the fact that he's the one who made the decision solely alone. But, you know, it's like, as a parent, how can you just continue to add on to the pain? And as if that's not enough, they also sent her a letter letting her know she had fines because her son's laptop wasn't turned in time. But nobody ever contacted her. The principal contacted her once to offer his condolences. Other than that, she was dealing with the coach trying to coordinate, you know, how to get the stuff back. And then not only that, they didn't even offer her tickets to the graduation. She had to get tickets from another teacher who just happened to, you know, she thought that she would have had them. So, you know, that really blows my mind. Just the lack of empathy from a school district where this boy was, you know, played football. You know, he was a star on your team. And now that, you know, he's not shining in the light that you want him to shine in because he's no longer here physically, you just want to disregard him. And this is the time that we should really be still giving him his flowers. He worked hard for that school for 2 years. And you just want to just bypass him like, yeah, we just put his name on the program, but we don't need to call it. You know, you were calling his name when he was playing on that field. So that right there, that's just something that has really bothered me, and that's something I really needed to address because, you know, that's just ridiculous. As hard as it is to go through this situation, it's something like I can't even describe it. I mean, physically, you can't breathe. You know, there's times you just can't breathe. You don't know if you're having a heart attack just because you don't even know how you're going to make it through the day, knowing you'll never see your child again. So to have to go through that and just constantly getting slapped down, you know, from, you know, because a school to a child, you know, especially when you're an athlete, you know, that's everything, you know, because that's your whole career. You haven't lived anything outside of that. And just to, you know, just to disregard him like that, that's so hurtful. And, you know, seeing the pain on her face, that really bothered me.
No, and I'm glad we were able to like use our platform too as well for you to, you know, speak up on that and, you know, share a light that's going on with other situations. I do want to touch on what is a way for like the community to like help or, you know, or to support, you know, Our Destiny, Our Foundation, Future Foundation. Like what is ways that we can like give back to you or just help, or if
Well,
it's donating to the scholarship,
you can
or
always, it's all, you know, you can donate. And actually, because we have so many essays, you know, I have people who volunteered their time to even just help us review essays, you know, just because we've got over 600 essays that we have to review and try and find, you know, 5 winners from over 600 essays. We have other events that are coming up. You know, we have an event coming up on June 24th, but just, you know, we have events that are coming up. So you can always check out our website. And there's all, you know, I keep events and a blog just updated with what we have going on, because I've also, I'm starting like a little spotlight for students, for like the younger students, where if they want to do research on our foundation, because on our foundation we have like the media and just kind of telling about our background. So like for younger kids that are like in NHS and, you know, stuff like that, if they want to do some research and they want to write an essay, we actually spotlight an essay on our blog. So, you know, we've done one so far. I would like to do that monthly, you know, and just highlight you know, these young scholars, because they're not quite ready for the scholarship, but, you know, like I said, they're junior National Honor Society. So whether it's middle school to high school, you know, but just you know, giving them a voice and a platform, you know, and just showing, you know, our future writers and, you know, our just showing who our community is.
And just to go up on, because like I said, we don't want to be too long to the viewers and things like that. And is there anything else that you feel like, because I know we did touch on the other people's situations, but is there anything personally with you that you want to be said to the viewers at all, like, or anything last things that you want people to know about Destiny, or is there anything?
Well, like I said, Destiny is just an amazing person and a loving person, and I'm following in her footsteps. So everything that I'm doing, I'm following her, you know, the path that she led, because she's made me be a better person, you know, and for that, you know, I'm going to bust my behind, and I just want people to know who she was and, you know, and the type of person she was. And like I said, by doing the scholarship, people are carrying on her name. Also, this, I also want, like, if there's any other mothers or any, not even just necessarily mothers, but anybody that, you're going through anything, and, as far as going through grief, and, you know, for me, it helps me to be able to support others. So, if it's something you just need somebody to vent to, you can always reach out to me. Like I said, I'm the one who takes every email, every voice message, everything comes to me. If you go to the page and it's contact us and you message me and you're like, Brenda, I would like, can you please call me? I'm going through this. I'm going to get that message. I'm going to reach out to you. I don't have everybody else doing everything for me, because it's important to me, because it's important to me to give back. And it's important to me to be there for others. So at this juncture in my life, I want to leave the type of legacy that Destiny's leaving. I want to be that type of individual that's giving back and helping others. So, like I said, I'm following in Destiny's path. And if there's anybody, I just want to inspire and motivate others, because as traumatic as this experience has been for me, it has helped me. One, it's brought me back to my faith, as far as strongly. And two, it's helping, just being there for other people gives me a purpose. So, people say God doesn't make mistakes. And I'm not saying God, this isn't a God made, he didn't make mistakes. This is a God allowed me to be in a position to see where, he needed me to go and where he needed me to be. And so now I found my purpose. So my purpose is helping others. And however I have to do that, God's going to let me know. So right now, it's grief support and the scholarship, and there's so many other ways. If anybody needs help, feel free to reach out to me, because like I said, I would never want anyone to feel alone, whether you're a mother, whether you're a father, whether you're a sibling. Grief is grief, and it doesn't matter how you lose somebody. Grief is grief, and there's no wrong or right way to grieve. But a lot of times people don't know what to say, and I understand that, because I've been in that situation. And sometimes people just need to know I'm here. And so, I'm here. If you need to reach out, you're going through a situation, I'm here.
Well, I definitely want to say thank you, Brenda Miller, for coming in and, coming on to the live and stuff like that, and kind of sharing the things you've been going through. This won't be the last time that we definitely will go live with you later on. We pretty much will figure out that day behind the scenes and stuff like that. But I definitely want to say thank you. Hopefully, as far as I guess for me and all the viewers and everyone in the community, we just want to send love and, and just prayers and just, and just want to praise and just lift you up in these hard times and things like that. But you being a strong woman and stuff like that throughout this process is kind of great to see. But I just want to say thank you to all the viewers. We're just gonna get off live now, but thank you. Is there anything else?
I want to tell you how much I appreciate you since like day one. You've constantly shown that support, helping get Destiny's story out there. And I just want to let you know I really appreciate you.
I definitely do appreciate that. I truly do. I truly do.
Well, thank you so much, and you have a blessed day.
Okay, you have a blessed day too as well.
Bye-bye.